Few things I want to address about the whole love spell conversation. So they said love spells are so dangerous, you're taking away someone's free will and it will always backfire. I agree, but it's not taking away someone's free will. It really is like super energetic manipulation. So you can still do what you want, but this is going to work really well on somebody who doesn't have that strong sense of self, sense of direction. Someone who's already easily manipulated will be easily manipulated. You know what I mean? So it's not that they physically can't get up and walk away. They just don't have it in them. Does that make sense? But you can't take away someone's free will. They can feel that tug. They will always feel it. And they can resent you for it.
Before you cast a love spell on any man or woman, you should listen to this story first. So Daniela and Job were high school sweethearts and are now happily married. They are blessed with 2 beautiful children. Daniela and Job are big players in their church and are known to be a very successful, happy couple. Job had a very good job working in an automobile company while Daniela was a stay-at-home wife. They were both faithful to each other and seemingly happy until Job lost his job. He became so depressed and a shadow of himself. He would go days without having a bath or leaving their bedroom. Some days, he won't even speak to his wife or kids. It was so bad that Daniela didn't even recognize her husband anymore. Now, Daniela was no stranger to witchcraft, even though she was a church-going Christian. In fact, her grandmother was a voodoo priestess before she had passed away. Daniela knew her grandmother had some friends who still practiced witchcraft before she passed away, so she went looking for one of them for help. At last, Daniela found an old witch who was her grandmother's friend and she was willing to help her. The witch agreed to help her mix a love spell. She asked Daniela to bring her some of her husband's hair, his earwax, her blood, and a mix of herbs. She then mixed them all up, gave the potion to Daniela, and she took it back home and mixed it in her husband's food. And for a while, the potion seemed to work. Everything was back to normal. In fact, everything was back to better than normal. Job started going to church again and started looking for a job and then got one, and everything seemed great. As the years went by, Job started to change. He became obsessed with Daniela to the point where he will lose multiple jobs because he will leave his job at odd hours just to go check to be sure that Daniela wasn't cheating on him with another man. He became paranoid and delusional and dangerously jealous even towards his own kids. He didn't want to share Daniela's love and affection with his kids. He also developed a violent temper, but through this all, he managed to stay madly in love with Daniela. He didn't love his children or any other thing but Daniela. One day, a family friend from church, this man, Matthew, came by to visit Daniela at her home. On this particular day, Job had left work and went home to do his normal checks on Daniela, and he found his married family friend in their living room with Daniela, and he flew into a violent rage, and without a thought, he proceeded to violently beat Matthew. Daniela started screaming for help because it looked like Job was about to unalive Matthew. While Job was on top of Matthew and throwing punches, he kept on saying, "Daniela, this is all for you. I love you." It took several neighbors to break the fight and get Job off Matthew. The police was called in and Job was arrested. Matthew ended up in the hospital with broken ribs and several bruises. Daniela was so terrified, she decided to go look for the witch who had mixed the love potion for her. But so much time had passed and the witch had moved away from where she used to live, and Daniela had no idea where she moved to. Job has made bail and is out and awaiting his trial. He is still obsessing and stalking Daniela, even though she had packed up her kids and moved to a different apartment. Daniela is now afraid for her life and that of her kids, and is asking for help on how to break the love potion she casted on Job. Wow. Poor Daniela. She desperately wanted her husband back to normal and now she has a disaster on her hands. What advice do you have for Daniela? Do you think she deserves what she's going through now, or does she deserve some leniency? Leave your thoughts in the comment section. Remember, love spells never have a happy ending. This story happened in South Africa.
And he that sat upon the throne said, Behold, I make all things new. And he said unto me, Write, for these words are true and faithful. And he said unto me, It is done. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I will give unto him that is athirst of the fountain of the water of life freely. He that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his God, and he shall be my son. But the fearful and unbelieving, and the abominable, and murderers, and whoremongers, and sorcerers, and idolaters, and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. Revelation 21, 5 through 8.
I want to talk about love spells. All these people doing love spells right now, and it's crazy because though love spells are not something from God, God would never allow you to take a person's will away, because that's what a love spell is. That's taking a person's will away. That's forcing someone to love you when they don't love you. Like, they don't have to love you, they don't have to care about you, but you're trying to force them to care. You're trying to force them to love, to love someone. And it's like, love spells are from the devil. Do you know that? Are you aware of that? That's black magic. Love spells are black magic because it's not from God. It's not something that is good for you. It's forcing. You're forcing someone to love you. You're taking a person's will away. God would never allow you to take a person's will away. That's not from God. God is not gonna say it's okay. It's wrong. It's morally wrong to do that to a person just because you want to be with them and they don't want to be with you. So then now you want to force them to be with you. And it's not right. And when someone is at a high vibration, that's why you always got to vibe high. You have to stay positive, and you have to be good. You have to be good, have good intentions. This kind of work would never work on you. Never. God would never allow this to work on you because it's not his word. This is from the devil. And these people that do it, they just hurt themselves. The person ends up hating them forever. They'll never like you. They'll never love you. They won't want anything to do with you. And then because you keep doing the love spells, you yourself end up obsessed with this person. And this person can't stand you. They'll hate you. And then you keep doing the same things. You keep doing it over and over, expecting a different result. You won't get a different result. They're still going to hate you. And I just wanted to say that love spells, that's not from God. It's devil work. It's something that's not normal. You're not supposed to force someone to be with you. You're not supposed to take their will away. Like, it's evil. It's not something that, because the word love is in there, that doesn't mean that it's right. You're not supposed, this is something that you're not supposed to do because it's going to hurt you. It's going to hurt the people involved. You don't want the person to hate you. You're trying to get them to care a little bit, right? You're trying to get them to care a little bit. But by doing this kind of work on someone, they end up hating you forever. And there's no way around it because you keep doing it. And I just wanted to put that out there for whoever needs it. Because people try to force love on people. They try to force things on people, situations on people. And it's not right. It's not fair. It's wrong. It's morally wrong. It's just wrong. It's not something from God. It's just wrong. I just wanted to say that about love spells. Leave with love. Stay positive and vibe high. Stay at a high vibration. So these low vibing people can't.
Stay away from all kinds of witches and spiritual practitioners who deal with demonic spirits. They're leading you directly down the path of death and destruction. You'll gain absolutely nothing from spell work at all. In fact, you'll be guaranteed to lose something when you participate with or dabble in any kind of witchcraft. Don't do it. It's definitely not worth it. The wages of sin is death. Sometimes multiple deaths occur when you start messing with witchcraft and these evil spirits behind it.
Love spells really work? Yes. Do I recommend for you to do a love spell? No. I know some of y'all have probably seen those spells on social media that look super easy and you just really want to try it when you know for a fact that man is not for you. And this person has already either verbally or physically expressed to you that they're not interested and you're still choosing to go against their free will. Love spells are typically casted without the other person's knowledge or consent, and you are literally gaining their love with spiritual manipulation. My mom owns a botanica and she has done this for as long as I could remember, so we know a lot of people who do this type of work. I'm going to tell you 2 stories of love spells that have gone wrong. The first story is about a girl that we know that was dating this guy on and off forever, and he kept running back to his ex. Basically, she got scared that he was going to leave her for real, so she decided to do a love spell on him. And things stayed the same. He kept running back to his ex-girlfriend and messing around with her whenever he had time. The only difference was that he became obsessive and possessive with her, to the point that he began stalking and harassing her for like 5 years. Mind you, this was even after they broke up. He would drive by her work and make sure she was there. He was weird, and he ended up going to jail because he physically assaulted her. It's a whole long story. This is just a little bit of it. Story number 2. This girl that I'm talking about was friends with benefits with this guy, and I actually live in a small town, so I also knew this guy. I went to high school with him. Let me describe this guy to you. He was super popular, super talkative. He was the life of the party. All the girls wanted him, right? And this girl, who was his friend with benefit, ended up doing a love spell on him. And yes, they officially started dating. He made her his girlfriend. He eventually proposed to her, and they got married. And I'm not even lying when I tell you this. I know these people. He is a complete zombie. And she actually posted their wedding pictures, and while she was over there looking all happy and in love, his eyes looked completely dead. He was literally standing next to her in the picture, looking into blank space. And other people who know this couple say the same thing. They say that his spark is just gone. Moral of the story, do love spells work? Yes. But they will backfire because the feelings involved are not genuine or freely given.
And well, make him love me. Are you kidding?
Witchcraft is actually powered by the devil, by Satan himself. And through witchcraft, you open up a door where demons can come directly to you to steal, kill, and destroy. Just right to your door through various ways to kill anything good in your life. That's what witchcraft will do against you when you get involved in it.
It's all forms of voodoo, witchcraft, dark magic happening every single day. And it's happening in America all the time, 24/7. And that's my purpose of making this video, because everything has been so flipped and reversed to where we are all subconsciously initiating ourselves into things that we don't understand. Like, why are you giving your blood away? Why are you letting them take your blood? Why are you letting them take your hair? When you look at the things that white people's ancestors used to do to our ancestors, it was deeper than just causing terror. It was also casting spells, using dark magic to keep us in that state of consciousness, to keep us holding there to these plantations. Because when I told you of slaves who was actually getting down with the plantation owners, they were so scared of us. The retaliation, we was burning down plantations. They had to figure out a way to lock us down mentally. That's why it's a mental war. I keep telling you, it's a mental thing. It's not a physical war, which y'all seeing. It's a mental one. When you start to get more knowledgeable about this, you will look at the past and see that they weren't just mindlessly doing things and terrorizing people for no reason. It was intention. Some of these plantation owners were actual warlocks, trying to imitate voodoo, trying to imitate African spirituality, and it turned around and bit them right in their ass. Let's get down to this part, because this is a recent situation. This ain't, talking about the past. I know the title was talking about plantation owners who were using witchcraft and voodoo and dark magic, but this one is a recent situation.
There once lived a young woman who had no boundaries on what she practiced, and because of this, she paid the ultimate price, her life. Y'all ever heard of that story? We have touched on this white woman who thought it would be a great idea to practice voodoo to try to hex her African American girlfriend. This is a good one. This is how you F around and find out.
This white girl tried to hex her African American girlfriend. You trying to hex somebody that they did? Hey, Somebody in the comments said, plot twist, the girlfriend was Haitian.
This story is really a tragic one. I talk a lot on my TikTok channel about how not to fuck around and find out. And unfortunately, this young woman did, because she just would not listen. Caitlin Ann Reston was born November 29th, 2000 in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Caitlin did identify as Wiccan and was into the occult, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. That's your practice, that's your belief, and that lines up with your, culture. Caitlin had just had a baby girl. Her name was Aaliyah. She was 5 months old at the time of her death. So she was a brand new first-time mom, and she was in a relationship with an African-American woman.
She had a baby.
Sometime in March of 2020, Caitlin and her girlfriend broke up. Whatever the reason may be, Caitlin felt like she had to get her lick back for something. So instead of doing what she normally does, which is Wiccan pagan practices, she decided that she was going to use voodoo. Caitlin was a part of a lot of occult groups on Facebook, and she would get guidance for different spells she was doing. She would share some of the spells that she was doing. And back in April of 2020, she started to share photos in this group and on Twitter, and they were a little troublesome to some of the practitioners that was in this group, some of the Black practitioners in specific. She shared a picture of a puppet, or otherwise known as a voodoo doll. The voodoo doll itself looked like it had like little locks attached to it, and her African-American girlfriend had locks. And she was very open about the fact that she was trying to hex her ex-girlfriend, who is of African descent. Do y'all see where I'm going with this?
Right.
This was not a good idea. So, of course, the other members of the group that knew better, white and Black, told her, this is not your lane. You need to stay in your lane, because this can get very, very dangerous. So instead of taking the advice and calling the whole thing off, Caitlin then went to Twitter to share another picture of her puppet doll and put this quote: "Let people live and have their own religion. If someone is into something different, accept that. Stop saying, no, you come from God. I'm Wiccan and I always will be, so shut the F up and let me be."
Let her be.
And so
let her find out.
Continued to do her hex. Now remember, this photo that she shared on Twitter in this Facebook group, all of this was March 29th, 2020. Some of her friends, it seemed like they were divided. A lot of her counterparts that looked just like her were defending these actions. It is unclear how much and how deep this woman went into the practice of voodoo. On April 17th, she posted in this group, and the group on Facebook is called Witch Way, okay? She posted, "I seen Papa Legba today, and I'm scared." And then commented underneath her own post and said, "No, sir." Let's get into who Papa Legba is, because American Horror Story Coven has us believing that Papa Legba was just this scary skeleton-looking man. No. No. Papa Legba is usually depicted as an old, wise man with warm, old grandpa spirit. So when Caitlin made this post about seeing Papa Legba and being scared, us Black spiritualists that know who Papa Legba is and what he embodies were a little troubled.
You in danger, girl.
Because we didn't think that was Papa Legba. There's another spirit that us practitioners, I am not initiated. I repeat, I am not initiated. Yeah. That was not Papa Legba, that was Baron. Baron Samaldi is the keeper of death. So Caitlin made this post in the Witch Way group on April 17th, 2020. They didn't hear anything else from Caitlin and would not ever hear anything else. 2 days later, Caitlin Ann Reston was found drowned in her bathtub. The spiritual reparations that Caitlin Reston experienced, she did bring on herself. This is why we tell y'all some things aren't for everyone. They help the people of Haiti, okay, defeat those same types of people in the Haitian Revolution. It doesn't work like that. You can't do those type of things, okay? And then the extra cherry was that her target was black. These spirits don't play. It doesn't matter if her girlfriend practiced or not.
You tried to target them.
She is of African descent.
Oh, baby.
And so are these spirits. So it's an unfortunate story. It is a learning experience for other practitioners that want to practice close practices. We need to mind our religions, practices, and respect one another. After her death, all of her tweets, Facebook posts were brought out into the light. And a practitioner came forward and did a reading. And I'm assuming that this practitioner is initiated, because you cannot speak to spirits like this if you're not initiated, if that makes sense. But the message goes, I just want to take a moment to say R.I.P. Cat. I just did a reading on her, and I asked Papa Lego, was that him? And he said, no, it was Baron. Shaking my head. Y'all have to be careful what y'all tap into. Heavy on the be careful what y'all tap into. I don't know what Caitlin did during her rituals, but whatever it was, it literally pissed off a spirit.
Right.
And this is the type of spiritual reparation that I don't wish any of y'all to experience.
Yep.